Okay, hello everyone, this is Nico. I'm making this video because I want to share with you some insights about what is going on now in the world. I originally sending this video to all the people that we have trained together in Caminocreativo and the other workshops in Estonia, Romania, in Austria. I don't pretend in this video to say what we have to do around this situation or to also pretend to know what is going on or to give a solution to what is going on. I want to share some insights I've been having, and I found it's important to communicate them. So if this is useful for you, take something from it, and if it's not, just let it pass. And if you think it's also useful for someone else that was not training with us, well, you can also share it. My attempt is to communicate and to relate. Yes, we all know that something it's going on in the whole world. It presents to us like a virus and like a need to be isolated. That is very strongly, it comes from the governments. I have never seen before in my life so much unity and working together towards one decision. One part of me is saying, okay, why didn't we do this so long ago for the climate, for the earth? Yes. But yeah, we've been seeing how most of the power systems, some governments were really challenged in the last year. So here in Latin America especially, but in other parts of the world, there were many awakening of the people and coming together outside of the way we normally relate in this system, which is capitalism, which is buying and selling stuff. So there has been like a lot of shaking in the heads and in the hearts of people that came together, you know, beyond anything, or let's say to defend themselves, to raise their voices. So there was a lot of shaking, and now a couple of months later, suddenly we have this virus and everyone needs to go home and everyone needs to be isolated and not come close to anyone, which is very suspicious for me, but I'm going to refrain or stop myself from creating a theory, okay? There can be many theories why this is happening. But I'm not going to go into that. Basically, what I want to do is to share that I had an insight and I asked the tarot what is going on and a possible solution that could be in the hands of us, normal people, not in power positions structurally, but in power of ourselves. So the first card that came out in this question, what is going on, is this card, which is the Emperor, but it came out like that, turned upside down. Yes. And the Emperor, you know, the cards have many meanings. The Emperor represents the power in a very positive way. It could represent me ruling over myself, and in a balance, centered, yes. But in the situation of this question, yes, I think it's representing government structures of power. It's also representing the economy, the material structure that we have collectively, and upside down. Yes, what is going on? Like my interpretation is um, the the system as we know it, the power, the structure of power, the structure of finances, the structure of material power is turning upside down. Yes, the order that we used to know how things were organized is radically changing in this moment. Um, my personal interpretation is that things are not going well for the power structure. There is much awakening in the collective, even though there is a huge mass and portion of people who are deep sleeping still. There is a lot of awakening. I see it in many, many places. I go in different cultures, and a lot of people are asking themselves questions and starting to explore doing things in a different way. So, what is going on? And the tarot answered the structure of power is upside down. Yes. You can interpret on your own about this. And so came the question, what can we do about it? What can I do from my own perspective, from my individuality, and from my immediate community? Yes, and the card that came out is this one, which is the devil. The devil. And this card has many interpretations as well, and the idea is to find intuitively an interpretation related to this moment and to this question. So this card can represent deceived, it can represent, it is seen often as a negative card because of all the charge, cultural charge that we have against the devil in the religious genetic code. But it represents the force of unconsciousness, our unconscious, our shadow, our instinctive parts, and also the creative sexual energy which is not tamed. Yes, like our also animal part and our raw self, which is by itself part of nature and part of earth. And this is like the part I decided to choose in this interpretation. And I think it's very related to what we were doing together. Yes, this card in this question, what can we do, speaks about we need to go deeper, we need to challenge these ideas of how we have to do things, and we have to get in touch with our inner self in a deep way. If there are stuck emotions, if there is unsolved shadow, this is something we need to see, and that somehow I feel to say the time is running away, to do this work that each one has to do, because we need this energy and this space available for the present, and the stuck things of the past, we have to find ways to let them go. We need to let our creativity arise, our instinct, our intuition, these parts of ourselves that in the normal system, in the normal way of relating that we have, sometimes we don't use. So what can we do? The devil. We have tried until now in front of collective things or in our lives to do things in a rational way, to do things in an ordered way, to follow protocols, to follow forms. And I think this card is an invitation to use this time of quarantine to get in touch with our deep self. What connects you? What makes you connect? What makes you arrive to a point zero outside of your ideas? And maybe what happens if you offer a dance? What happens if you offer a ritual? What happens if you offer, I don't know, something that is not the normal thing you do and you go a little bit deeper? This is at least what I'm trying to do in family, in community. I will help to co-create a ritual that we're going to do in these days because we are arriving to the equinox, yes, and this is a very powerful time to elevate a prayer and to put an intention. And so I want to enter into the last part of this video to be a little bit concrete. Before this tarot, the first day I arrived here and I drew out a card to see what is going on. This card came out, yes, it's the death, it's the transformation, it's total transformation. It's also seen a lot of times with fear, and this is the challenge in this moment. There is a quarantine and there is an emotion around it, which is fear, yes. And let's imagine for a moment that in the earth language, there is not such a big problem. Yes, there is pollution, there are many things going on and the earth is speaking, but let's imagine that the situation is perfect in this moment for us to gain awareness, for us to transform and solve things. Quarantine in initiatic language means the biggest and deeper possible initial transformation that you can do. Think about Jesus and the 40 days in the desert. Always that an initiate went through a quarantine, he entered into a next level of evolution, a next level of consciousness. And maybe in this moment, as a collective, we are already ready to enter into a new state of doing things. You have been feeling it, I've been feeling it. When I speak with people, we all feel it. We don't want to do the things like that anymore. We are ready to grow. We can let go this emperor, which is like the father, the government, yes, that tells us what we have to do. And this patriarchalism, yes, and maybe we can enter into a state in which we are much more connected to what we perceive, to what we feel we need, to find different ways of relating, using our creativity, not denying our shadows anymore, yes, and going through the fear of the unknown to achieve a big transformation into a new state. Because the card that was on the other side of the deck, when I drew out this one, it's an amazing card, which is this one, which is the world. Yes, and this is a world which is balanced, which is perfect, which is golden. Yes, this is an egg and a birth of a more matriarchal energy, as you can see with this figure in the center, in which all the 4 elements, yes, are present and are balancing the creation of a 5th new reality. Yes. Friends, I don't pretend to say what I'm saying is truth or not. It's just what I am feeling in these times. I'm not pretending to tell you what you have to do. I wanted to share my impressions, and I could sum up this video in this idea. Let's use this quarantine, but change the color of it. The color of this quarantine that they are offering us is fear. Let's fill this quarantine with creativity, with love, with solving things we couldn't solve because we didn't have time and we were working all the time. Yes, let's solve this quarantine. Let's go through it with our own rituality, by affirming that we can do whatever we need to do, that we can create a ritual or create a moment, that we can inspire others, inspire ourselves. We can meditate, we can get in touch with nature. Yes, and in this equinox, let's print an emotion of love, of transformation, of power. Yes, a vision, a very nice vision. Yes, of how we want things to be. Yes, let's get out of this movie where they are telling us what we have to do, where they bring us rules of absurd things that go against the earth and against ourselves. Let's use the power of our intentions as creators. Yes, let's imagine we have the power to vision a new possibility of world. Yes, and let's give power to that image. Yes. So my invitation that I also received from other people is that in this equinox, it can be throughout the day 19, 20 and 21. Use these days as ceremonial days. Dance, shake yourself, sweat, and when you have brought down the energy of your head and the fear into the body and moved it, sit down, meditate, create a wonderful vision. Hugs the one you love. Clean the things you don't need anymore. Yes. I really don't like these, videos of internet with people telling you what you have to do. And I don't pretend to do that. I just received that is necessary to share these things. And so I'm doing it. I'm wishing to meet you again after all of this. Hopefully in a renewed state of energy, in a renewed situation. Yes, there are evil things on the earth and big powers, but if we start using our power as creators, nothing can stop us. My friends, I am sending you from here a lot of love. If somebody needs help, if somebody needs some frame, I'm open to speak to you. So if somebody's going through a difficult time in this moment, you can get in touch with me. We can do something out of money, out of everything, just like humans. Yes, take a moment and see if it's possible to help in some way. Thank you very much for showing up when we met, and thank you very much for seeing this video up to here. If you have seen it, it's quite long already. I'm sending a lot of love, a lot of power, a lot of strength, a lot of calm. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you, and I hope it arrives, and I hope it's useful for you. Thank you very much, and let's come together and let's transform this using the power of our intention, the power of our strength, of our energy, of our love. Thank you very much.